1998. I moved up there.
Oh, wow.
Last time I needed it.
Got that on implant one.
Oh, the guy told me March.
Oh, and the cold too.
That's okay with me too.
Down. That winter was below zero a lot. And then New Year's Eve, when we went from 99 to 2000, it was 55 degrees at midnight. Quarry Lake wasn't frozen. Camp was blowing up, fireworks.
Before we start our meeting tonight, I do need to appoint our recording secretary, so Mark, impose on you again if you would, please. To be our recording secretary and the absence of one. Okay, with that, I'll call the meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. Meeting of the Constantine Village Council, a regularly scheduled meeting, and welcome everyone in the audience. Good to see everyone on a night like this. Okay, Mark, would you call roll, please?
Denman. Here. Steers. Here. King. Lawrence.
Here.
Mathers. Gary Mathers.
Here.
Myra Mathers.
Here.
Piper.
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum, so if you would, please stand and join me in saying the pledge of allegiance to our flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item is the approval of our agenda for tonight.
May I take just a moment? You've all been told that you were going to receive an audit report tonight. Mr. Verling, the gentleman who was coming from the auditors, called at 6:20, I think, from Kalamazoo, saying he was stuck in a whiteout and wanted permission to go back home, and that seemed like the prudent thing to do, so he will be here on February 4th.
I'm stuck in a white I make a motion, we approve the agenda as amended.
A motion by trustee Lawrence, supported by trustee Piper to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Those opposed say no. Okay, that motion carries. Item 3, the regularly scheduled meeting of 1/6/2025 minutes.
Make a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes of 1/6/2025 as presented.
Okay, motion by trustee Lawrence, supported by trustee Denman to approve the regularly scheduled meeting minutes of 1/6/2025 as presented.
If there's a typo, does it have to be changed or not?
Wait, where about?
The first page at the bottom where it says dairy distilleries 4. And the next word after that.
Last line.
4A tax abatement, but then there's TOR in there.
Four tour.
Very last line.
You're there. Right here. TOR. Down there.
Oh, got it. Thank you.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second. Anyone else? Any comments? Okay, all in favor of accepting the regular meeting minutes with that one exception? We already did that, didn't we? No. All in favor of it, please say yes.
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 Okay, that motion carries. Next, our payment of our bills tonight, pages 6 to 21. The total is $265,316.86. 265, 316.86. Any questions?
I do have a couple questions. I'm all out of whack here, so I gotta find them. the Three Rivers wastewater treatment plant, did we ever figure out why the balance on the top or total amount due doesn't match the bottom?
Well, now it's turned into a credit, so they're working on it. I don't know what it is.
So do we pay that bottom 127 or?
Always, I never pay that top one. I always pay the balance of the actual invoice.
Okay, I just noticed, I figured there was a difference of 5,294.23, so I didn't know if you knew what that was or not.
I do not.
The legal fees for Buckland Call, is that, dairy distillery stuff, or is that
That was for,
zoning, or?
that was for the IFT.
Oh,
She did a lot of work on the IFT for it.
okay.
That was Roxanne Seaver.
Now, I know I have another one, the Three Rivers Commercial News, are we billing, I'm assuming dairy distillery, and I don't know if there's any other, articles that had to go in the paper?
They are, yes, in fact, Ms. Seaver was also toting up all the total cost for your considering that IFT. So that'll include posting in the newspaper, notification, everything. So, yeah, yes, they are.
Okay. And right underneath that, or right above that, this Taplin sewer hauling for September, I'm assuming at 40,663.
That's kind of a, well, I guess it's not a terribly long story. To make a long story short, Taplin, tell me if I go left here. Taplin was billed by, this is a different one?
This is for the actual trucking, not for the
Oh, I'm
dumping
sorry.
the
Okay.
sewage. This
All
is
right.
the trucking bill.
That when we put in the bypass, we had to have them standing by and doing some trucking while the bypass was taking place.
Was this part of that quote, that $116,000 quote, or this wasn't?
No,
This is all separate,
no, that quote was strictly
just
from.
for the bypass, for the pipe?
Correct, from, yeah.
And that's all I have.
Anyone else, trustee, with questions or comments? I know it may fluctuate a little bit, but are you okay to approve the amount of 265, 316.86 then?
I will make that motion, we approve that payments of the bills, $265,316.86. I'll second.
Okay. Motion was by trustee Piper, supported by trustee M. Mathers. Again, 265, 316.86. More comments or questions? Will you call roll, please? Mark?
Steers. Yes. Lawrence.
Yes.
Gary Mathers.
Yes.
Myra Mathers.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Denman.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, that motion carries. Next is the time for public comment. Anyone would like to address council, ask a question? We do ask that you go to the podium if you're physically able and speak from there. We're limited to this one time during the meeting, it's a 3-minute per person. We'll try to adhere that as well as we can. Anyone like to address council or ask a question? See someone stood up.
Yes. Before the meeting, I handed you all of this. Louis Rosado is giving a training on Saturday from 9 to 1. It's basically, how I understand it is, they're going over the proper way to hold meetings, going over Open Meetings Act and stuff like that. If you want to attend, his number's at the bottom, you have the RSVP by tomorrow.
We are already all signed up.
I didn't know, I just wanted to
Appreciate
throw it
it.
out there and let you guys know about it.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Very much. council tonight? Okay, seeing no one, we'll close that part of the agenda. There are no visitor presentations, I don't believe. Mark, you don't have anybody making a presentation tonight, do you? Okay, next on the agenda, the consent agenda. Starts on page 22 with the manager's report.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agendas as presented.
I will second that motion.
Okay, motion by trustee Lawrence, supported by trustee Piper to accept the consent agenda as presented. Discussion? All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next, under unfinished business, DDA TIF ordinance.
We discovered, after you have approved the, resolution for the DDA TIF, that we actually had to have an ordinance, that you actually had to, adopt an ordinance. Even, Ms. Seaver was surprised by this because there was some conflicting language in the, IFT statute. To make a long story short, you are being asked, I'm not the IFT, the TIF statute. To make a long story short, you've already done the public hearing, the public notice, everything. All that I'm asking you to do is to approve the ordinance that's in your packet. It's on 26?
26.
On page 26, and it's pretty simple. I don't have an ordinance number yet, I have to figure that out. But it will be regarding a resolution that was adopted on January the 20th. And will take effect 10 days after publication. That publication will happen, it'll be in Friday's paper, so.
I'll make a motion that we approve the ordinance for tax increment financing plan for DDA.
Support.
Okay. So motion by trustee Piper, supported by trustee Lawrence, to pass the ordinance approving the tax increment financing plan for the DDA. Will be done in the form of an ordinance. Any discussion? Okay, Mark, will you call roll on that, please?
Yes, sir. I think you have the order right. Lawrence,
Yes.
G. Mathers,
Yes.
M. Mathers,
Yes.
Piper,
Yes.
Denman,
Yes.
Steers.
Yes.
Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Next is a bookkeeper search update. That falls on you.
We are still struggling. To be candid, we are looking at a couple of prospects who don't know that they're being looked at yet. The person that we had selected backed out for personal reasons. So there are a couple of that we've identified but haven't been able to reach them yet to see if they're interested, and both would be eminently qualified. So if it doesn't work out, if we end up hiring one of the two that we're looking at, I think we're going to be better off than we were with our first choice. So the first one was clearly qualified, but the other two are, and I'm sorry to sound mysterious, but I don't want to divulge any names or anything at this point because we've not spoken with them. So we're still struggling, and Jody's leaving on vacation she'll be leaving on the 27th for vacation. And she got more vacation or more trips planned in March. So far, she has graciously agreed to train whomever we hire, unless I make her mad, she backs out. But, actually, there are a couple of tentative irons in the fire, and I'll keep you posted with that, so.
Well, it's better she knew now than after we've trained her for a month, that it wasn't gonna work out.
If, quite literally, if anybody knows anyone who is qualified, we'd love to hear about it. This is, I didn't know this, and in fact, Jody didn't know it until very recently. This is our bookkeeper for a municipality is truly unique. Is not a bookkeeper in any other capacity. Our bookkeeper has to have some unique knowledge, call it a niche, but so we've called people like, there's Munson, I don't remember the name of the business in Schoolcraft. We contacted her to see if she knows of anybody who might be interested, and she didn't really, but she suggested we contact Glen Oaks and see if they got, it wouldn't be for a current student, it'd be for a graduate, for somebody who excelled in the program. And I called the faculty office at Glen Oaks and have not heard back from them, so I'll be rattling their cage again, but yeah, it's just, Jody will tell you, and I agree, she's obviously been underpaid for quite a few years because this is such a unique position, but unique job.
Well, I can attest to that. My first job was a public auditor. I got my CPA license, and they sent me out to a municipality, and I had no clue what I was looking at. Thought I knew everything at that age, you know.
Of course.
It is a different.
It's just different.
Yeah, it is. Okay, thank you, Mark. The audit report then will be put back in the stands, so we'll take that off the agenda. Tonight's meeting. You didn't have anything else to add to that, did you, Mark?
I do not. These,
Okay.
we did impress upon him that we need the audit reports in advance. He will, there's still one portion of the single audit is not done yet, but he told us he would do his level best to have it to us by no later than the week after next, which would still give you more than a week to review the audit report, so.
Okay, next item, village clerk. Page 31.
I'd like to introduce Melissa Steems. Melissa applied for, in fact, she applied for the position last year, but there were some personal circumstances that prevented her from taking the job. You've got her resume and application in your packet that will fill you in quite nicely with regard to her qualifications. So I've asked her to come in tonight so that you could ask her questions or try to dig into her character a little bit.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Coming tonight. Trustees had a chance to look at her resume. Does anyone have a question for her?
Don't make her mad. We need a clerk.
I do have a question. I was just looking at your resume earlier, and is it Steams or Stemis? Stemis. Okay. Is that your logistics company?
Yes,
You own it?
Yep.
Okay, how busy does this keep you?
I do things from my phone.
Oh.
I don't do anything unless I want to go to Florida because it's cold here. But I have 4
maybe-
drivers that work for me.
Okay.
I basically I have weeks in advance done ahead of time.
Okay.
Things sometimes change because of weather, obviously if they're going west. But most of it I do from my cell phone or a laptop.
Okay. Okay.
I don't have to go anywhere. And I work at the most 3 nights a week for something to do.
Out of curiosity, is it like LTL or?
I do cargo trailers and RVs,
Okay,
just single poles.
okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. I have 4 retired guys that work for me.
Cool.
And a lot of the skills probably comes from that thing.
I also worked in a trailer factory for 10 years. I was warranty parts and service manager at a cargo factory and an RV plant. And I've done everything from shipping, accounting, billing, you name it.
Anyone else? Question for Melissa?
Gary, I have a question that's kind of the same subject, but off this application, but it's regarding the clerk. We do record our meetings, correct?
No,
Oh, no.
no, we
We
do
used
not.
to, but we don't have a recorder.
I thought we had one. I thought we just got one.
Well, we did, and it waved goodbye to us.
I would like to do that again at some point. You know, we used to, some of the new guys might not know, but we used to have one on each desk or one between each two.
Yeah.
You know, I like that.
I think it would help the clerk, definitely.
Oh.
Yeah, that was
to have
my
that.
thought.
It's a good reference point.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Just to make sure you get your notes.
Especially if you need to know it in depth.
Yes.
If it's not just, agreeing and disagreeing, yeah, if you need to know in depth.
Can I,
Myra was clerk for a while. You would agree with that?
Oh, yeah. Got
Hey,
it on
that-
that recorder.
Right.
It wasn't the most reliable.
You know, the one I work with, no.
I'm saying, if anybody wants to know, I do live stream on Facebook. If I'm over here, it's live streamed, so you can go back and rewatch them if you need to.
Oh, interesting. Good to know.
Anyone else have a question for Melissa? Well, that's we have the one candidate remaining then, Mark?
No, I'll explain that too here.
All right.
Do you need a motion?
Not yet.
Ready?
Did you say you had another one? Another applicant?
No, there is not another applicant.
Oh, okay. I thought you said there was, I'm sorry.
So this one that we have is
Yes.
yes, no, it's a no?
Sandra Hosteller?
Sandra Haas.
I'll explain that,
Okay, all right.
because I've got my administrative assistant position filled with Ms. Hosteller. So,
Two birds.
yes.
Okay. Well, I know of no one else applying for the job. You seem very capable, I believe. Yes. So, someone like to make a motion this time?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I will support that. Hallelujah.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
We haven't voted yet, though. You better slow down. Okay, there was a motion and second. All in favor of hiring Melissa? No, I keep calling you. Yeah, Melissa Steams as our new clerk.
No, it's Steamus.
Steam-S.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Okay, you're hired. Okay, put this over here now.
Can you catch up for tonight?
Sure. Got it all.
I will work with her.
Been taking notes right now.
I will work with her for, doing the minutes report, and I've spoken with her for the last year and a half, probably a dozen times.
Oh, yeah.
And think we will be very happy with her abilities as a clerk. The thing I haven't told her is that she will
Here's where
also,
the clincher is.
she'll also be a check signer. So there may be times when I'll ask you to come to the office to sign checks. I have to have either the clerk or the treasurer sign every check.
Okay,
If one signs it, then another one of our designated check signers can do it.
Got
But,
it.
you know, I know you're in Three Rivers.
not a big deal.
It'd be a 10-minute drive, obviously, to get through it, but, so. And apart from that, yeah, we will get you sworn in. Would you be able to, I'm not gonna ask you to do it tomorrow because the weather is not looking good, but would you be able to come to the office to be
Yeah,
sworn in?
anytime this
as
week is
clerk?
fine.
Okay, all right.
Yes. Yep,
I don't
if
know
there's
if
a
we
book and
ever did.
everything.
Were you sworn in?
You weren't sworn in?
I don't know that either one of us did.
Well, he was,
No,
you were clerk.
I was for the.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't, no.
no, the check signers are Richard and
No,
Myra.
not me.
and
No, me.
Kathy.
Kathy and Myra.
Yeah,
They won't let me sign checks.
so. Oh, I should. I almost forgot something. We had spoken about, and I think everybody agreed, increasing the salary for clerk and treasurer to $6,000 a year. So, we can do that midterm, the only raises that you cannot meet out are for yourselves in midterm. But, so, I'm gonna ask you, and you should probably do it by, motion. I'm gonna ask you to approve, increase for both clerk and treasurer to $6,000 a year, and that will take effect February 1st.
Okay. Clerk and.
Clerk and treasurer.
Okay, someone like to make that motion?
I'll make it.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Any others?
I think Richard spoke first, actually.
Does it work?
Yep.
Okay. Motion, by Myra and supported by Dick. Okay, let's have a roll call on that one.
Yes, sir. Gary Mathers,
Yes.
Myra Mathers,
Yes.
Piper,
Yes.
Denman,
Yes.
Steers,
Yes.
Lawrence.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Now, if you'd like to be filled in, I didn't list it separately on the agenda, but I can fill you in on the administrative assistant position. You've got her name on the application. I don't know whether any of you know Ms. Hostetler. She lives on South Washington, across the street from that Weiss's old house. She grew up, I think, in Constantine. She went to school a year or two behind Crystal Adams, the clerk, and comes well recommended. I had a long conversation with Ms. Hostetler, and she said she wasn't sure she wanted 40 hours because she's got a pretty busy life. So I suggested we should look at 32 hours, and she leaped on that one. So I'm going to have further conversation with her, make sure we can agree on the package, both the salary, the vacation time, and insurance. And I don't see anything that would prevent her taking the job. So I will let you know once that hiring is, I hate to use this term, executed, but if anything changes, you'll know, but apart from that,
I know her, and I know she's been a part of the community for a long time and very involved in a lot of the sports and activities around.
she's also a former school teacher, so my best guess is that she reads and writes very well, that she would, the paperwork part of the job wouldn't intimidate her. Very pleasant woman to speak with.
Great. Well, it looks like that's all there is on our agenda for tonight's meeting.
I have a couple things, actually. What happened to all those general law books that we got? Didn't we get about 8? something
You know,
like that? When Liz was here, I thought we got
Yeah,
them for
you said-
everybody to have.
you said general law.
The village, like, this book. Is that what we got?
That's Robert's rules, but.
Is this what we got, or did we get the general rule, the law book, the, like,
So I'm not sure where those books are. I know they arrived. I saw
Yeah.
them on Jan's desk. So I have to ask Crystal where she put them, and I apologize for that. I don't know. It just never crosses my mind, but you will have them. So
okay, I was just curious, I thought about that last time, and I was like, I don't know where they're going.
it would be nice if you have them before you go to training on Saturday, so.
And then I have one more question, and this is just for information, and a lot of it's probably for the council. Do we have, and I did email Michigan Municipal League regarding how to go about looking for a new manager. You suggested last year that that's probably the way we should go. And they wanted to know if we had an ordinance or what kind of guidelines that we have in that process.
Okay. Yeah, in fact, I don't know who you spoke with.
There was an email, I don't know who it was either.
My go-to person there is, I'm not gonna come up with her name, but I call her regularly, and she always has great answers. I did ask, I knew that they would help in the search, and she said absolutely. When you're ready to get started, let me know, and we'll get the balls rolling, so.
I know the longest it's been taken to find a bookkeeper, and, you know, I'm sure a manager is gonna be longer, and plus more training, work side by side for quite a while.
Yeah.
Before we can.
I'm not, I mean, unless something happens and I get sick or something, I'm not bailing on you until a replacement is hired and trained,
Right.
so.
But I thought it'd be good to get the ball rolling on it, just, even if it's just guidelines and details of what we need to do.
Yeah.
To do that. That's all I have.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you for coming tonight and braving the elements, we appreciate the audience. And we'll adjourn the meeting at 7:35 p.m.
Ms. Piper, don't you need a motion to adjourn the meeting? Okay, I'll say, most meetings do that, so I go to so many meetings, they all blend together.
Yeah. Do you remember why